Well, hello and welcome to your daily 180 Bible study. We're so thankful that you've joined us and hope that you encourage your friends to join in this study as well. We're in the midst of a study on what would Jesus preach. I know that one of the subjects he would preach is he would say to the morally weak, "Go and sin no more." Oh, it is true that Jesus is a God of love. He's God the Son, and He is loving and He is gracious, and He loves us so much that He doesn't want us to suffer by living in sin. In John chapter 8, we come across an amazing story. Some of the religious elites, they bring a woman to Jesus. Jesus is teaching in the temple, and they bring this woman to Jesus who was caught in the act of adultery. Now think about that. Caught in the act of adultery. They bring her to Jesus. They didn't care anything about this woman. Verse number 6 says that they were doing this to try and test Jesus, to trap Jesus, so to speak. And they said, the law of Moses said that we should stone such a woman. What do you say, Jesus? And they thought that they really had him because, you know, the Jews didn't have the right at that time to exercise capital punishment. So if Jesus said, well, we can't stone her, then they would say he's violating the law of God, which wouldn't be true. If he said stone her, then he would be violating Roman law, and they thought, man, they've got him this time. But you know the story. Jesus stoops down and he begins to draw or write in the dirt. We don't know what he wrote. And then he rose up after they began to press him a little bit, and he rose up and he said, "The one who is without sin may cast the first stone." Well, they were wise enough to realize that none of them had the right to do that. And so they all began to walk away. And then he addresses the woman, and he says to the woman in verse number 10, "Woman, where are those accusers of yours? Has no one condemned you?" And she says, "No one, Lord." He says, "Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more." You see, none of us have the right to look down our nose at someone else because they fall short of the glory of God, because Romans chapter 3 and verse number 23 says we all sin and fall short of the glory of God. But that does not excuse sin. We need to make up our mind that we don't want to live in sin anymore. And Jesus would preach today to all of us, go and sin no more. Please join us again tomorrow.